Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Board for the Village of Gurnee for this February 7th, 2018. Could we have a roll call, please?
Bow.
Here.
Garrity.
Here.
McFarland. Norton Tuff. Path. Pasak.
Here.
And Sula.
Present. We do have a quorum. If everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from the meeting that we held on January 3rd. Are there any questions, comments about said minutes?
Move to approve as written.
Moved by Mr. Garrity, second by Mr. Pasak. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is a minor sign amendment. Minor sign exception, I should say, requested by Simon Properties for property located at 6170 Grand Avenue. Tracy?
Sure. Simon Properties, which is the owner of Gurnee Mills Mall, has submitted a petition for a minor sign exception to allow an increase to the size of their tollway sign. The sign is allowed to be 67 feet tall and 550 square feet per face. The existing sign is 530 square feet per face and 67 feet tall. Simon is seeking approval to add an 85 square foot per face panel to accommodate the identification of another anchor tenant, Dick's Sporting Good. The minor sign exception process allows the size of a ground sign to increase by 25% as a minor sign exception. The additional 85 square feet falls within the 25% increase allowed as a minor exception, as it is a 16% increase to the allowed size. The overall height of the sign does not increase. A minor sign exception can be granted by the Planning and Zoning Board if you find that the number, size, design, and placement of the proposed sign within the development is consistent with the stated purpose of the sign regulations. We did provide you, I think, a copy of those stated sign regulations, and just a reminder, you do have the final decision-making authority in this matter. And I think somebody is here from Gurnee Mills to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions or comments from members of the board? To me, it seems a very reasonable request. No increase in height. It's called minor for a reason. It is minor. So. Any other questions or comments? As Tracy indicated, we have approval authority, so a motion. Yeah, go ahead.
Just one question, just for clarification. I'm looking at this picture, and the addition is just one extra slot that causes the.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, we prefer it.
The upper part, there is a arch similar to the bottom currently that you can't see on that image, I believe. And what we're doing is we're putting one up higher over that arch, and then we're separating the space down a little bit. So there's just enough space where we can get one more in. I think it just has to be kind of moved around just a little bit to accommodate the Dick's Sporting Goods. So we're moving one up and then kind of just moving them around a little bit is all.
May I ask one clarifying question? So the total height where it says Gurnee Mills will not go higher?
There's no change in the physical structure itself in any way.
It's just the panels inside the arch.
The panels, the way that it was designed, the panels by the sign company Jones, they're able to kind of move between the two posts of the structure. So.
Okay.
Seems reasonable from my perspective.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Then a motion? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to get the language here. Motion.
It can be a simple motion.
Motion to approve the minor sign exception
as presented.
as presented today.
Right. So we have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Garrity. Roll call, please.
Bow.
Yes.
Garrity.
Aye.
Pasak.
Aye.
And Sula.
Aye. Motion carries. As you heard, we have final authority. So next up would just get the building permit, right?
Sign permit.
Yeah, sign permit. Okay, thanks.
Good luck.
All right, the next, excuse me, the next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for a special use permit for property located at 5455 Grand Avenue. As this is a continued public hearing, anything that was presented at the last meeting just automatically is incorporated by reference, so we don't have to repeat any testimony. Tracy?
Sure. As you said, this is a continued hearing. At the previous hearing, Ms. Summercorn was encouraged to look at placing a directory sign on or near her building, which is allowed by right. She examined this option and has decided to continue to pursue the special use permit because she believes that the directory sign, if attached to the building, would not be legible until after patrons exited their car and walked up to the building. Per Ms. Summercorn, the Business Park Association has indicated that it does not want any freestanding signs on their property. She's requesting a special use permit to allow a total of 6 wall signs to her building, which is 3 more than allowed by code. This is a change to the previous request, which reflected 7 sign locations. She is committed to unifying these signs in terms of their color, which is white, their font times bold, letter height 8 inches, and she's also going to redistribute the area that's allowed for the 3 signs into the proposed 6 signs. As for the location of the signs, 2 would be located on the east wall, centered over each set of windows, 4 signs on the north side, 2 centered above each of the east and west windows. On the north wall over the center windows would be the building number, address number, and suite numbers. This is currently existing and would keep it consistent with the building numbers found on the other 2 buildings within the complex. The existing sign on the west wall, as stated in the last hearing, would be removed. As with all special use permit petitions, the Planning and Zoning Board will make a recommendation that will be forwarded up to the Village Board for their determination.
Okay. Thank you. First, I'd like to just say thanks for trying to take our feedback and take a go at it. And then let's just have some discussion among the Planning and Zoning members.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I have some pictures here of the existing. I think in going through my board packet and even right now, with the changes, I'm trying to figure out what's changed visually. Do we have a mock-up of what it's going to look like after we either potentially were to approve it?
Excuse me 1 second. This is a public hearing, so if you could please stand and be sworn in.
Yeah, because it's a public hearing, if you could just raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
And I don't know if the gentleman behind you would like to do that as well.
I don't know.
Sure. This is a co-owner in the building with me. His name is Chuck Summercorn. And one of the things is I run a dental specialty practice, and it got to the point where I kind of turned the project over to him because it seemed as though he had more free time than I myself. I was in communication with Tracy, and then he kind of took over some of the communications. So I'm going to introduce him and let him speak for.
You were asking about a mock-up, about what it would look like?
Well, I have existing, what it looks like now, but I don't know.
I have a copy of...
And I apologize, that was provided last time, and I did not provide that again. The only thing that's changed from last time is that the sign over the north wall, or on the north wall between the center set of windows, would no longer be there. So those would be the locations of the signs.
And that whiteout area there is just to show you the square footage. There would not be a white spot there. They would be, as was previously noted, that they would be 8-inch tall letters, individual letters.
Yes.
1, 2. What you're saying with the white?
This is what they proposed before. This is what they're proposing now.
No.
No.
We had an additional area in here where we're going to put a sign. So they'd be individual. Do you have a copy of what the existing?
So just so I can clarify, that left photo is the east facade. They're proposing that white block is one sign over Yes, over those set of windows. The second sign would be over that set of windows.
So that's 2 of 6.
That's 2 of 6. Then you have the signs on the north wall, which is that right photo. There's going to be 2 signs mounted, one on top of the other, for 2 different tenants over each of the east and the west set of windows, yes. So those are 4 signs. It's exactly what was proposed last time, except for the center set of windows had a sign over it. Yes.
Right. So my biggest takeaway from the first meeting is they've taken the vagueness out of the number of signs, and they're firmly committing to 6 as opposed to 7. And they
It's
gave
uniform.
And they took a really good hard look to see if they could accomplish what we were trying to accomplish in terms of doing a monument sign instead of, a bunch of wall signs, and it just wasn't feasible. So, Josh?
Does the west elevation C&E Builders sign go away then?
Yes.
Okay, so it's still 6, north and east.
You might want to keep this until we're really
Because
done.
I'm looking
Okay.
at,
Thank you.
I'm just to verify for us.
Yes, right,
So these are the 6.
Yes.
right.
Okay. Okay.
They're basically be on the 2 sides that face parking.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit more
Exactly.
clean cut then. A
Right.
little bit more organized.
And it's more solidified.
Mm.
You go. That was a staff proposal.
So
Go ahead.
at the last meeting, at the last hearing, you had directed them to do a directory type sign. And we looked at the code, and we know that there's 3 different building addresses out there, so we thought the directory sign helps you when you're in close proximity to the building, but these directional signs, if they could get approval from the Business Park Association to put them on the site to direct them at least to the building address, so that then when they get to the building address, they can get to the directory sign. But the Business Park Association doesn't want any signs, no directory signs and no directional signs. Those would all be signs that would be allowed by right. Unfortunately, the Business Park Association has informed Ms. Summercorn that they don't want them.
Mr. Chairman,
And the
go ahead.
key unique thing about this situation is that the petitioner literally owns the building, but they don't own any land around the building.
Correct.
Interesting. So my
So
next,
they would need permission from the condo association to have any sort of freestanding signs.
So my next question is, I see here, there's Peter Francis Tracy, there's the Bernie from Gurnee State Farm. These are all rather large signs, not very uniform. Is what you're proposing going to be a uniform? What do they compare like in height
We
and?
would use one single sign company, and it's in the proposal that they would be 8 inches. They would all be 8 inches.
Same font?
It would be the same font, yes. It would be times bold. They would be non-illuminated, individual letter, all caps.
So in my opinion, it'll have a very professional, uniform look to it. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Is your plan then, if there's a new tenant, to change them out each time there's a new tenant?
If they want a sign.
Okay, okay,
So we would have the lease, legal.
okay.
Good, all right. Just a formality thing, it's a public hearing. I need to open the floor to the public if there's anyone from the general public that would like to make a comment. If not, I'm going to close the floor to the public. Final deliberation amongst the planning and zoning board.
I'd like to go ahead and,
Do you have a comment?
So,
or-
yeah, it's the 6, I'm just making sure what we're talking about here. It's the 6 signs, and these additional monument signs are not part of it.
They
It's
were-
just a
Those are
proposal.
allowed by right. If they wanted to pull those now, or if they wanted to pull them 10 years in the future, they could do that.
But that's
So
up to
it's
the-
just
that's
for
up-
this,
But
it's just,
it's up to the condo association,
Right.
not the petitioner.
Correct.
So what the petitioner is proposing is a very unified approach, and they're committing to 6 signs in very specific locations on the building that they will swap out as need be as tenants change.
I think it looks professional. There's more clarity to it this time than when the applicant came last time, so I'm better with this.
Okay, and in this particular case, we are a recommending body to the village board, so the petition should, the motion should be in the form of a recommendation.
Well, I'll go ahead and do it. I'll motion that the board gives a favorable recommendation to the special use permit to allow additional wall signs for the tenant at 54, for the tenants, for the owner at 5455 Grand Avenue, as written.
As presented, okay, great.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pasek. Any discussion on the motion?
No.
Roll call, please, Joanne.
Bow,
Yes.
Garrity,
Aye.
Pasak,
Aye.
and Sula.
Aye, motion carries. So next step in the process, it'll go to the village board, and the village board will have final say over the matter. And Tracy or Clara, I'll let you know when it's going to the board.
Yeah, terrific. And, it was a lot of work, and it was a lot of work, and I really appreciate how responsive the village staff was to all our requests and submissions.
And like I said before, I really appreciate the yeoman effort that, everybody put into it to get where we are. Okay, thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda, next meeting date is February 21st. Do we have anything on the agenda?
We do not have any public hearings, but we could have some other
Something could come up,
right.
okay. And last item is opportunity for public comment. Does anybody care to say anything else? Close the floor to public comment. It's not listed on the agenda, but we received an update in our packets as it relates to matters that we've considered in the past and how they progress through the rest of the cycle going through village board. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Thanks for all we do here. Once again, every recommendation that we've made since the last report was totally endorsed by the village board, and that's pretty cool. So thanks, everyone. Motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Stay out of the snow, everyone.
Thank you. Good luck.